Before we begin this podcast, if you or someone you know is in crisis or needs emotional support, there are tools that can help. You can call Talk Suicide Canada at 1-833-456-4566, or you can text 45645. Coming in the fall of 2023 in Canada, you can also call 988, just 3 numbers. You can also call the Kids Help Phone at 1-800-668-6868. And the Trans Lifeline in Canada is 1-877-330-6366. In the United States, 1-877-565-8860, or call 911. You are not alone, and you do not need to be alone. Welcome to the We Are the ADHD Family Podcast. This podcast is meant to chronicle our family's journey with ADHD, autism, and other discoveries along the way. I reach out to advocates, experts, individuals, and other families that want to raise their voices and empower those on their journey. My name is Mark Smeets, and I am passionate about removing barriers for others through creating connections, building on strengths, and practical problem solving. I am married to Siobhan, a father to 2 wonderful kids, and all of us have ADHD. We want you to feel like you have power and hope. I would like to honor and recognize the traditional and unceded territories of the Katzie, Kwantlen, and Semiahmoo nations, on whose territories I live, work, and play. Welcome back. This is part 2 of my conversation with Siobhan Smeets. I think if there's, I was going to say 1 or 2 things that surprised me would have been answering my own questions. His feedback I thought was really good and really specific, and the first thing that he said to me, that said to us was, or one of the first things was about my brain just drew a blank on.
Was it about how he rarely gets both
No,
parents?
it wasn't that. I mean, that was surprising in itself, and obviously that stuck with me. But it had to do more with how much of he said that he had read everything. And then he proceeds to talk about, how there was no family history in 2014, or was it when we went to the first place, was that 2017? I think?
Oh.
Yeah, from there was no family history, but now all of a sudden there is. And then we sort of fill him in on the backstory, like details like that that he picked up on, and that he had said he had read everything.
Oh.
And he brought up my issues with math because I had already mentioned it. I don't even know when I mentioned it, but that was that shocked me. And the guy, even hearing him say Owen is a complex case, and he wasn't sure, but to have seen everything else that we had prepared. We didn't just bring the kitchen sink, we brought, the entire military. So
we weren't aggressive.
No, but, I mean, who brings a spreadsheet with 300 rows, 14 pages that you wrote in Word, a 56-page Word document from a diary from 2017 or 18 or whatever year it was, and God knows how much, on top of 2 massive binders full of information, we came to rumble. And we weren't, I wasn't walking away without an answer, without being satisfied in somewhat shape or form. So, anyways, your question.
I think I asked all my questions.
Really? Ooh, I got bonus ones then.
How many did you write?
I just came up with a couple extra good ones.
Okay.
All right.
Then I might turn. Well, you're answering your own questions.
I know.
Anyway, so.
Okay. Do you think it would have made a difference if we had known about our own diagnoses for us when we tried doing this the first time? And I'm purposely not mentioning the name of the provider because I don't want to give them business.
If we had known about ourselves more, yeah, I think it would have made a difference. We would have been more aware of our own challenges and maybe just more informed of neurodivergence and
better able to argue it.
Maybe, yeah. And just knowing about the Venn diagram that
that he talked about, yeah.
Yeah, the overlaps, comorbidities of ADHD and autism, And yeah,
I think that's a shock for people. I don't think people, I think one of the stigmas is they see it as two separate things, and it really isn't two separate things. It's varying degrees of severity depending on sort of what side you're on. And the way I really hope that the next DSM addresses it once and for all, because the disparity between those two things, and even I guess, PDA or what have you, like those other things, like stop trying to say, I guess, make everything one color, because we're sick and tired of, you know what, you're teal, you're not green. You're, be like, it's not that the name is bad, it's just that
the name is bad.
Like, no, but
of ADHD.
Yeah, that's that in itself. But I guess what I'm saying is the way that governments look at funding these things, that is what has to change. And if the DSM changes, it'll force governments to change that too. I think that's certainly something I kind of hope for. Oh no, the name ADHD is absolutely horrible. It's atrocious. Stupid name.
Misleading.
Very. Is there anything I did that made you mad?
Today? Yesterday? When?
Focus on the process, honey.
No, I'm grateful. Because
you're grateful I drove you nuts. See, it's on tape now, folks. So if you're listening to significant others, if you're listening to this, yeah, there's your green light.
No, because I could focus on the kids, and I knew that you were taking care of collecting the data and writing journals and taking notes and writing emails and things that I just didn't have the energy to do,
or capacity.
Yeah. And I understand why he said that about it's usually one parent that comes to the appointment.
Yeah.
Because I know a lot of couples don't stay together when there's any kind of diagnosis or medical things that come up with their kids. It's really hard for people to it just puts a lot of extra pressure on a couple.
Yeah.
I mean, sometimes I resented it because the kids would just break me.
Yeah.
And just that exhaustion of being with them all the time. But I need to be,
well, and the hard thing too is that
take responsibility for myself too, right?
Well, yeah, but that's that's victim blaming to me, because both of the kids, they are, Owen just as much as Kenzie is, but they are so on top of you, you really don't get that break. I'm upstairs here in our room, right, doing whatever, and you're downstairs, but you are, you're playing Roblox with Kenzie, and I'm not always doing that. I might be doing something, but you have, that's, which is certainly one of the things I absolutely adore about you, is that you have
Roblox.
Well, no, but you're building that connection. That connection is so strong, but the need that Owen has to be so close to you, and there's almost like no way to satisfy that need. It's exhausting, and believe me, I see it, and it's like we've said before, like he's trying to get back inside the womb or something like that.
Who says that?
What's that?
He says that.
Yeah, but it's like I do. it is a tough thing to watch, knowing that you really can't change that, because I wasn't the one that gave birth, right? You went through that. The fact that you guys, that there's such a closeness to it, I think is beautiful, and it's awesome, and it's certainly a great, I don't want to say tool is the wrong word. As beautiful as it is, it can be equally as exhausting, and you need time for you.
Booking my flight.
Book your flight. Okay, you book your flight. Just go somewhere. Don't tell us where. I'll just have to deal with them asking, "Where's Mom? Mom, where are you? Mommy, where did she go?"
Maybe one day.
Where do you think his biggest strides have been since we started to push as hard as we have?
It's hard because we've been focused so much on the negatives part of the process.
I don't think we have.
You don't think so?
No.
Well, and then I am also thinking a lot about, the things that we need to get on, like finding...
Oh, a team.
A team, yeah.
But where do you think he's come the furthest?
I think he's happier today than he was a year ago.
Oh, without question. That was nobody was happy a year ago.
when
the bullying that happened in school was beyond reproach. That was just horrible.
I'm not convinced that it's over.
It's not,
because
no way.
Kids, yeah. He doesn't open up about everything, right?
No, and he's horrible at being able to share his emotions like that.
That's really hard.
Yeah, that is. I think he sort of wants to, but I think maybe with the language difficulties, sometimes he can't get those feelings out.
And he just says, "Can we talk about this later?"
Can we, or I don't
want
know.
to talk about it.
Or I don't know.
I don't remember.
Yeah, I don't remember.
But he does seem happier. Like,
he is.
He gets down still, but he doesn't stay.
Doesn't stay down.
Not as long. I mean, he still gets stuck on things and still brings things up from
years ago.
Yeah. He's a little more flexible. No, he's not.
No, I think so.
You think so?
I think so. I mean, the fact that he'll eat my bread at the drop of a hat, that's pretty amazing.
What did he try the other day that he had?
Oh, the sushi?
Yeah,
that was shocking.
Put a sushi roll in his mouth.
I know. Like, you can't offer it individually, but like the sushi thing, like if you were to offer the seaweed or then the rice or then something that's inside of it, like the cucumber. I mean, cucumber he'll eat. But you put it all together and he's like, no, he didn't want any of it. But the fact that he touched it with his tongue.
He didn't like the seaweed, he said.
Yeah, I mean, I don't even think he bit into the rice.
I think he just ate the cucumber pieces.
Probably. But it was such a, like, again, the sensory thing and everything that we've come to know, it was shocking that he did it. In a good way. Shocking in a good way. Okay, last one I wrote down was, what is one unexpected good thing that's happened?
I didn't expect to get my own diagnosis of ADHD.
Makes two of us.
It has been good for me because I'm more compassionate towards myself and aware of how it has impacted me. Less, like not beating myself up as much. And
I've noticed that.
Have you?
Yeah. And
then more willing to work on what I can, not feeling so overwhelmed with, I can't do anything, so I'm not going to do anything. Well, I can do what I can, and that's okay.
I mean, do you feel relief now that you know that it's, that whole stat of, women being 3 times more likely to be diagnosed with a depression or anxiety before ADHD. Do you feel relief knowing that you that's really where you fit? That you fit with the ADHD first, and then the anxiety and depression as a result of that. Does that make you?
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes, and I know there's a lot of others like me, and that is comforting.
The unexpected good thing is, I think, the video games helping bonding between him and me, but also helping his communication skills, his speech skills, playing online together, and him being specific. I think it gives him practice. It gives him something that he enjoys. And then just realizing the strengths-based approach that you and I do with things, like, Sheridan Wall Center, right? And then dovetailing that with a lot of the exercise that I was doing at the time. I think that's awesome. The video games is another thing. The swimming, both of the kids love the water and stuff, and it's nice to be able to help them. Yeah, those are good things. And there's some lot more I could probably keep going on about.
Maybe the benefits have outweighed the downfalls for the video games.
I think part of me wants to say that there's an equal weight between the negative and the positive.
Yeah, because there's some downfalls.
Well, and if you think in the beginning, when we didn't know anything, we were struggling just to try to figure anything out. That was us drowning more than anything.
Yeah.
And we changed. We came a super long way. And I'm not saying that, I would not say that we have it all figured out, because we probably don't. But
definitely.
But the way that you and I did it, the way that you and I talked to each other with, respect and love, not only as two people that are obviously married, but we care for our kids. I think that was like the difference maker, is that respect. And I know you and I have talked about that before, where we don't swear at each other. We don't sometimes we very rarely yell at each other, very rarely. And
maybe just frustration at a situation, but it's not, we don't call each other names or
no, that's not us. That's
put
not
each other
us.
down, or
no, we don't do it, because it's always go back to the situation, figure that part out, and that's it for my questions, hon.
I think we gotta get the kids.
We do. What
I could give you a final question.
Okay.
Have I made you mad?
Oh God, yeah. I gotta say it.
Yeah, we're out of time. We gotta go.
We're not out of time. This is a hard drive. What are you talking about? I can keep going until the RAM decides to run out. The only things that made me mad is when we may have miscommunicated with each other, and I wasn't necessarily in tune with something that you were doing, and you were trying to help the kids or help Owen out, and I wasn't cluing into your plan of whatever that was, and you're just trying to get a grasp yourself. And I think you and me learning how to sort of read each other and take the lead on certain things. Like if you were saying something, instead of me coming in with, this is my way of doing it, and you're already doing your way of doing it, like, I'm not going to be the jerk. I don't want to say I had to learn not to be the jerk, but I guess I had to learn not to be the jerk to come in and take over and say, well, I'm going to try and do it this way. It became a matter of trying to understand what you were doing, because I might have been too, I don't know, it's not the right word to use. I was going to say blockheaded, but I would not have been able to see what you were sort of doing. And so many things that you did do fished us out of the fryer, right? That wasn't being mad so much at you, but not knowing that I was annoyed at myself because I didn't understand that you had already sort of started, some kind of intervention. And so, I was the dummy, so to speak.
Yeah, it's hard.
Oh, it is.
Especially when the kids are fighting, and there's no really fair solution that's going to make them both happy. So
no.
You just kind of... Sometimes what seems fair to me is not fair to you. And
no, that's right.
Yeah.
And I can do a bit of a crappy job at just letting you know that. I could certainly be a lot better at it. The place that you're coming from for this, it's you're coming from it from a place of love. In that way. It's never anything but that with us or you, and that's what it was.
But it's so hard.
Oh, it's ridiculously hard.
The love is not hard, but the
What was the scariest time?
Pass.
The past?
No, I'm passing on the question.
Oh, you're passing? Oh. I would say without question, Rage Night.
Yeah, I don't want to talk about Rage Night.
And the time when I was at work.
Yeah, exactly. I know the times you're talking about.
Yeah. I was at work, and then Owen was trying to bust through the door in the bedroom, and you were in here with Kenzie. And she was just a little itty bitty baby. Those were, yeah. There are some things I'm not proud of how I handled. I really would like to have. I don't want a time machine, but if the opportunity ever came back, I would have done things a lot. I wish there's a couple things I wish I could have done differently. And yeah, and it's specifically sort of around those nights, Rage Night, nothing either of us could have done. But I feel like we need to end on a happy note. I don't know what it is, though.
It's not raining.
It's true, it's not.
It's just sunny out.
Honey, I love you. Thank you for coming on the show. Thank you for being a guest. It's pretty awesome.
Got any merch?
We need merch.
As Owens.
I'm very proud of you for growing as much as you have and allowing me to grow. I think we're both amazing parents.
Me too.
I think you gotta tell yourself that. I don't think you can't not tell yourself that. You have to know. I think you said it or alluded to it earlier too. It's like it's so much that's out of your control. And it really is about helping the kids, any kid, regulate themselves and learn about themselves and do that. But we can only be the guides and shepherds and such. We can't control them. They're not little robots with remote controls.
Yeah.
They're not that.
I know.
So us modeling these things, I think, is huge. All right.
To be continued.
Oh, yes. To definitely be continued. I had fun asking you these questions.
Me too. I'll give you harder ones next time.
Woohoo! See, I told you mine were easy. All right. That's the end of the episode. If you're listening to this, go say something nice to your significant other. Tell them how proud you are of them. This is hard. This is not easy. This is really tough. And you are enough. If you want to be a guest on the podcast or know someone who would make a great guest, my contact information is in the show notes. This podcast is open to everyone. You don't need to be an expert, just passionate and want to see change.
We are the ADHD family.
If you like what you hear on this podcast, please give the show a rating so it makes it easier for people to find us. Never ask anyone with ADHD if they have everything that they need. We have no idea. Please remind us to use a checklist. The opinions expressed by the hosts and guests are not associated with any employer or organization unless otherwise stated.